the wrong steps taken during this crucial transition time will impact your success. Your colleagues and your boss form opinions about you based on limited information, and those opinions are sticky. It's hard to change their minds. So, giving that right impression of you to the best of your ability is important in the first 90 days. Coming together is a beginning, staying together is progress, and working together is success. It's no secret, friends, you have a purpose and you have the highest potential. Dream it, believe it, achieve it. So dream big, truly believe in it, and achieve it 100% to live the life fullest. And I want to join hands with you on this mission to learn and grow together, to engage, enlighten, and empower. Yes, this is solo episode of your host Jyoti G on Stars of Learning podcast. Let's begin. Hello friends, welcome again to Stars of Learning podcast. So before I jump into this topic, have you heard that the president of US gets 100 days to prove himself and you get 90 days? Yes friends, 90 days only. So I have a few questions for you. Put your gears on, maybe a volume high, and listen carefully. Whichever stream you're working on, I want you to assess yourself on how you're performing today in whatever the role you have been doing. And these are the core challenges which we need to focus. Why am I saying this? I was actually studying a World Economic Forum report on a jobs report, and they were saying complex problem solving, critical thinking, and creativity are some of the top skills in the future. Hence, I thought the organization can term this as a crucial skills to assess their employees to be able to thrive in 2020 and beyond. Of course, they will look out at skilled employees who can maintain continuity in business outcomes. So friends, as I read out the questions, take a notepad and pen to answer the question with yes or no. And if yes, reflect on how you're doing it, and if no, answer to yourself why you're not doing it. Simple logic. So I repeat, if yes, reflect on how you're doing it and can you make it more impactful, and if no, why you're not doing it and what is stopping you. So my first question on these core challenges which each one need to adapt: are you adopting the right mindset for your job and letting go of the past to promote yourself? My second question is, to accelerate your learning, are you figuring out what you need to learn, whom to learn it from, and how to speed up the learning process itself? The third one is, are you diagnosing the type of transition you face and the implications for what to do and what not to do by matching the strategy to the situation? Number 4, are you building your relationship with your boss, managing expectations, and marshalling the resources you need, aiming to negotiating for success? Securing early wins is important, right? And are you focusing on the vital properties that will advance your long-term goals and build your short-term momentum? My sixth question is, achieving alignment in the organization will be a key. So, are you identifying and fixing frustrating misalignments of strategy, structure, systems, and skills? As you move up the ladder, are you assessing, restructuring, and aligning your team to leverage what you are trying to accomplish to build your team for a betterment? And my last question, are you creating alliances to build a base of internal and external support for your initiatives, which are critical, so that you're not pushing the rocks uphill all alone? Yes, friends, I'm referring to a interesting book which is not just for managers or at the executive level. The book targets all members at all levels who are making the transition from one rung of the ladder to the next. There is also more emphasis in this book on the leadership role. And don't worry, as this will be an insightful and helpful in any way as we grow up the ladder. Mind you, friends, the wrong steps taken during this crucial transition time will impact your success. This book was given as a gift to all new joinees in my earlier organization, and many people have walked to me and expressed that this has helped them to gain success and face challenges too. Yes, guys, I'm sure you would have got it right. I'm referring to the book The First 90 Days by Michael D. Watkins, who offers proven strategies for conquering the challenges of taking on a new role, new job change, no matter where you are in your career. Watkins has very well laid out today's increasingly demanding professional landscape where change is constant and who has steeper expectation when anyone start their new jobs, right? This is the guide you will need to succeed in your first 90 days in any of the role you are taking, and this is required beyond your 90 days to ace your career, friends. If you have listened to me in the past, you know that I always say that you need to know why. And that's the golden principle. And in this book, you need to understand why transitions are critical times when you are moving from one role to another. And it's important that you take charge more effectively and efficiently by building that career transition competence and equally assess your transition risk in taking up this new role. So, guys, what's more in this book? Uh, each chapter has summary points, checklist, which will help you absorb what you learned. And you will also be able to apply with your own examples and tailor them as per the situation you're facing for a smooth transition in the role you're playing. So, friends, I've read this book when I moved to another company. I read it again during this lockdown as few of the college students, friends who called me and were asking my guidance as they have got their new job and new role, and if I can give them any guidance for them to start their career and what are the right things they need to do. And friends, this is the book which came to my mind and I referred it to them. Then I thought, why not I do a podcast on what's in the book and my learning, so it becomes a reference for people to listen. So even though this book is targeted to assist managers transitioning into a new positions, I found a lot of value as an individual contributor in my earlier days, friends. And this has definitely helped few students who I have shared that this book would be an like a bible when you pick up that new job, and they have told that they have loads of insight and they were able to apply, and they have become a star performer within the 90 days in that job role. So let me bring your attention to what Michael D. Watkins says in one of the Forbes interview. He says lots of his research shows that what you do early on during a job transition is what matters most. Your colleagues and your boss form opinions about you based on limited information, and those opinions are sticky. It's hard to change their minds. So, giving that right impression of you to the best of your ability is important. And you may be wondering why 90 days specifically. So, friends, it's a quarter, right? Which is a recognized time frame in the business world. And Companies often track how they are doing based on how much progress they make each quarter. So that's the style you should also be following. So let me give you some good insight about what's in the book. Watkins lays out his approach using 10 chapters focusing on each of the following topics. So let me read out the titles for you and then deep dive into it. Okay. The first one is promoting yourself. The second chapter is accelerating your learning, matching strategy to the situation, negotiating success, securing early wins, achieving alignment, building your team, creating alliances, keeping your balance, expediting everyone. Now, let me give you the glimpse of each of the chapter in this book, the first 90 days. Firstly, promote yourself is the chapter. You need to make that mental break from your old job and prepare to take charge in the new one. And that's what this talks about. You can't bring in the old thought process to the existing role. You need to consciously think what will make you successful in this role is likely to be different from your last role. And so the biggest pitfall you face is to assume that what has made you successful to this point in your career will continue to do so. Hence, my friends, my request to you is don't assume that what has made you successful so far will continue to do so. So, you need to break that pattern in promoting yourself. And the second title is about accelerate your learning. And the key thing is learning and listening should be your primary focus. So you need to definitely climb the learning curve as fast as you can in your new organization. You have to be systematic and focused about deciding what you need to learn, get guidance and understand its market, product, technology, system, tools, structure, culture, and politics, and everything you need to play your best in the role you have been given to scale up. The third title is match strategy to situation. So, friends, you need to diagnose the business situation accurately and clarify its challenges and opportunities before building your plan. The author identifies four different situations here, and that's called STARS model. And using the model, it will help you to analyze portfolios and lead change for launching a startup or leading a turnaround, devising a realignment, and sustaining a high performing unit should be your focus. And that's the STARS model technique in the third chapter. The next one is the negotiate success. And this flipped the card to me, friends, as I was always negotiating the failure earlier. So, negotiate success and think on how to build a productive working relationship with your new boss and manage his or her expectation. This means having a series of critical talks about the situation, expectation, their style, resources, and your personal development. So you have to develop that consciously and gain consensus on your 90-day plan. You can't let go, you need to negotiate that for success. And the my favorite one and the fifth title is secure early wins. So friends, early victories build your credibility and you can create that momentum. In the first few weeks, you need to identify opportunities to build that personal credibility. In the first 90 days, you need to identify ways to create value and improve business results. The sixth chapter is talking about achieve alignment. The higher you rise in organization, right, the more you have to play the role of the organizational architect. And it can be for, it's not the architect as a designation. Even I as an L&D can be an architect in my L&D function. This means assessing whether the organization strategy is sound, bringing its structure into alignment with its strategy and developing the system, skills, culture which is necessary to realize the strategic intent. And that's very important when you are aligning to your business goals. Moving on, the seventh chapter is about build your team. So, friends, as you grow up the ladder, or if you're already playing that kind of a role, you may need to restructure your team to better meet demands of the situation. So, evaluate, align, mobilize, and restructure as necessary, and your willingness to make tough early personal calls and your capacity to select the right people for the right position are among the most important drivers of success during your transition. So, watch out for how to build your team. Yeah. The eighth chapter is about the creating alliances. Your success will depend on your ability to influence people outside your direct line of control while learning the policies and culture of the organization. So, supportive alliances, both internal and external, will be necessary to achieve your goals, friends. And the ninth chapter is about managing yourself, which refers on personal discipline. Definitely, this would be like a first step which you need to take. The risk of losing perspective, getting isolated, and making a bad calls are ever present during transitions. So, scale up quickly to get into the right advice, and counsel network would be an indispensable resource for you in the early stint. Work hard to maintain your equilibrium and preserve your ability to make good judgment professionally and personally. And the last chapter of the book, Expedite Everyone. So, friends, finally, it's not just you. You need to help everyone else. It could be your direct reports, your boss, your peers. Accelerate their own transitions as parallel to your role. The quicker you can get your new direct reports up to the speed, then the more you will be able to help your own performance, which integrates with the appreciation, strength, and succession planning as a potential leader, right? So, and these are the 10 chapter insights. Now, you may have a question to me, Jyoti, which what was your favorite chapter? So, friends, my favorite topic was secure early wins, as this has immensely helped me to make right move in the system, which also points to avoid early losses. So, few nuggets which I can highlight to you: failing to focus. One cannot achieve result more than a couple of areas during your transition. Hence, essentially to identifying promising opportunities and then focus relentlessly on that particular element, and don't take multiple projects. Yeah. and and another nugget is on not taking the business situation to account and not adjusting for the culture, or failing to get wins what matters to your boss, and letting your means undermine your ends. That's not going to help in the system. So, what has helped me and how to plan to secure early wins, friends? There are 100 things to do. However, I say identify your A item business priorities and have laser focus on them. And in your transition role, first step is to get connected with all the stakeholders in the organization and build that relationship and creating a compelling vision so that you build that brand for yourself. And in turn, what happens? It gains trust and it also builds personal credibility. As you make progress in the role, plan, then only implement change and build whatever you're doing through the collective learning process. You also need to identify and act as quickly as you can to remove any irritants in the system. identify them as quickly as possible and focus on strained external relationships and begin to repair them, and you will see the kind of a miracle happens through that kind of an engagement. So the people around you are forming opinions on you, so build that right energy and demand high level of performance from yourself and from others too. So no compromise on that. So friends, so secure early wins is all about remembering you are aiming at modest early improvements so you can pursue more fundamental changes in the future. So Watkins says you will have to stay on track. I also agree with that. With your self discipline, you should be able to fight to manage yourself every single day, and ultimately, your success will flow from all the choices you make along the way for your personal efficacy and your well being. So, friends, may I request you to listen to this episode again to reflect and answer all the questions I asked you in the beginning and answer it straight from your heart. And the first 90 days is a details which has a proactive planning approach that can make your career and ensure an organization's future too. So, to conclude, friends, it's a book that shows you the chessboard and it helps you to make that better move. So, get ready that you cannot read it at one go, and you will definitely come back to this book for continued guidance. I look forward to your action and let me know how did you apply the learning to ace your career. Would be happy to see your response and feedback in the comments below. Again, wishing you all the success in whatever the role you do. Happy reading. Thank you. So friends, I hope you enjoyed this conversation, and I'm always grateful for everyone who tunes in, listens, subscribes, and have left reviews of my podcast on iTunes. By the way, if you have not done that yet, that would mean a world to me. Head over iTunes, and I would be happy if you take a moment to rate and comment if you got any value or learning listening to this podcast. Do share this amazing information to help many others to engage, enlighten, and empower. Thank you once again for joining in, and I'm your host Jyoti G, signing off from Stars of Learning podcast. Thank you.